Hi everybody, I'm Bruce Vonderhaar. Welcome to Take 10. This is a show produced in partnership with Joplin Schools and the Joplin Globe. We are coming to you today from the JET-14 studios on the Joplin High School campus, and today we are visiting with Joplin High School head soccer coach Ed Miller. First of all, Coach, thanks for being with us today. Let's talk about March 2nd, coming up real soon. It's the start of the girls soccer season for you, and you coach boys and girls soccer here at Joplin High School. I'm curious, just talk about the strategy. You coach boys in the fall, girls in the spring. Getting ready for girls soccer, coming off a boys season like you do. Do you approach the season any differently? Is there different philosophies? The way you coach, do you coach differently? How do you approach the start of a new season on the girls' side?
Well, I think with the girls, compared to the boys are a little bit more physical. They also have a little more power as far as their kicks, so therefore some of the things that we can do, certain plays we can run with the boys, we have to dissect it and maybe cut it down to maybe 2 or 3 passes with the girls instead of maybe just 1 pass with the boys on a big switch of the field, corner kicks, some of the plays that we have with that too.
So, having said that, it seems like fundamentals, obviously they're important in both, but for girls maybe even more so, because a lot of times you do have to make that extra pass or do things more than you would on a boys game. So fundamentals probably even more important in girls.
Exactly, because there's more touches involved, so we need to get, as we use the term in basketball as well, a triple threat positions. We need to get the ball to our feet as quick as possible so we can make that decision as far as passing, shooting, and dribbling.
What is and you touched on it a little bit here, but what is, to the casual fan, somebody just coming and watching soccer games, what is the biggest difference between the girls' game on the high school level and the boys' game on the high school level? Speed, I guess, is a big part? Speed
is a big part of that. Physical play, as far as boys, a little more physical than the girls as well. Also, balls in the air. Girls a little more timid than boys. Guys usually get up in the air and get after the ball a bit more.
How many years have you been coaching in Joplin?
This is my 10th for the girls and the boys both.
Okay, and you've had some really successful teams while you're here. And believe me, I don't want to pick on private schools at all when it comes to soccer and really tennis too. But talk about the advantage that private schools have in this sport of soccer statewide, and the experience that you have anyway. Some of the advantages. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, in dealing with the private schools, usually out of St. Louis and Kansas City, they have a lot more club teams, a lot more club players, and basically they develop certain clubs and they take that whole club team and they go to that school. So they've been playing since 5, 6, 7 years old, and they just bring the whole team in to play for the high school team. Again, we've got 2 or 3 club players on our team, maybe 4, and they got the whole team. And not only that, they've got like 5 or 6 teams going out for soccer, and we're battling to get enough for 2 teams here. So the number they have, the experience they have at the private school as well. I believe the stat is like over the last 30 years they have 80% of the Final Four teams have been parochial schools or private schools. So there's a big advantage there where they've got a lot more experience than we do, and we take everybody that comes to our district that lives within. They don't call it recruiting, but they have within 25 miles of their school anybody and everybody can go play for them.
So for example, a club team in St. Louis will use CBC or DeSmet High School in St. Louis, 2 high schools, very good soccer programs. They live 25 miles in that radius, which I'm sure a lot of them do. They can just take that team and they can all go to CBC and play, where they've been playing together for years anyway. Right,
and they've got several clubs in St. Louis. They got Lou Fuse, and whoever plays for Lou Fuse usually goes to CBC. Whoever plays for Scout Gallagher usually goes to Chaminade. So they've got several clubs out there, and usually this club develops their players for this high school team.
Soccer, you always hear it's the most popular sport in the world. It's very common for a lot of countries to play. In the United States, it's one sport that doesn't get nearly the amount as notoriety or as popular as the big 3, football, baseball, basketball. So why is it that soccer isn't as big in the United States as it is worldwide?
I think tradition. I think they've had it around a lot longer than we've had over there. They basically live and they breathe it from the time they're born. It's kind of like in high school football here. Their whole community, their whole city is involved in soccer, so therefore they follow it very closely. They travel around and watch them play and everything else. So tradition plays a big part in it rather than here.
Everybody, even though it's not that popular in the United States, although I think it's growing and growing in popularity, but the World Cup is always popular for people. Even non-soccer fans watch the World Cup a lot of times. And I think one of the reasons, anyway, they watch the World Cup is you see a lot of different styles of soccer, from the United States to Brazil, Mexico, whoever. What is the biggest difference between the way they play soccer in Brazil or Spain or Mexico to the way that we play soccer in the United States? What's the difference there?
Well, I think it goes back to when you're in Brazil. You know, I listened to, at a conference. I had a guy from Brazil, one of their national coaches, come talk to us at one of our conferences we went to, and by the time they're going to school, they're playing 2 or 3 hours before school starts. When school's over, they're playing another 3 or 4 hours. They're playing 5 and 6 hours a day from the time they're 5 years old until the time they make the national team, and that's everyone. That's their whole country. I mean, they don't play pretty much anything else for the most part except soccer. So if you got kids playing times they're 5 and playing 4, 5, 6 hours a day, by the time they're 21, they're going to be pretty good. And you can see with Brazil, their skill level and their finesse and stuff like that, as far as their moves and stuff, are really polished and really good, and understand the game as well. So
yeah, and you know, the kids that could be playing soccer that much in the United States are instead playing other things. Football's obviously very popular, and baseball, basketball, whatever. They're just doing different things.
And they go from one sport to another sport to another sport here.
Right.
Where they pretty much concentrate on soccer, and that's it. I think another difference is, I talked to another guy, same clinic, a guy from Germany talks about that, you know, when they grow up, they're watching soccer on TV and they understand how the game's played and the strategy. Where here, you don't see a lot of soccer on TV and people really don't understand. You have to explain offsides, you explain a lot of these rules and what the strategies are, and there they kind of pick it up by watching. Like we watch football, so people understand the game of football, pass interference, the rest of the stuff as well.
You played soccer at Missouri Southern for 4 years. You graduated from Missouri Southern, you're an alum. And unfortunately, they had to cut the men's soccer program this year. What were your thoughts on that as a former Lion soccer player?
Well, again, you know, that's your relationship with that school, and you're kind of disappointed because, you know, you always want to check and see how your school is doing and so forth, and now they kind of got rid of the program, so you feel like you kind of lost your identity a little bit. Hey, I go to Missouri Southern, but they don't have soccer anymore. Yeah, exactly. They do. So you kind of feel a little disappointed about the situation, about them cutting it, and hopefully down the road they get some more money and maybe they bring it back, so we're hoping that happens.
Yeah, possibly. And on the women's side, as far as women's soccer at Missouri Southern, you have had a lot of former players that have played for Missouri Southern. On this year's team at Southern, 3 of your former players, Lindsay Altman, Stephanie Taylor, Randy Russell, all 3 of them are members of the soccer team, all 3 of them. Stephanie was fighting some injuries this year, but Lindsay and Randy, a goalkeeper, and her and Lindsay getting some significant playing time, both young players, both doing well.
Right, and I think, like I said, Randy came in as a freshman and didn't start the season in goalie, but like I said, probably about halfway, third of the way season, she ended up taking over, and she did a great job and got some good experience. We've got another, Kelsey Sanders here, is thinking about playing there and trying to get on to play there. So we have it's a successful program, and we feel good that we're actually contributing to that, and we feel our program's successful we're sending players out to play Division II.
Okay, so just right around the corner here, just here in a couple of days, the girls' soccer season starts for you. And talk about the team a little bit this year. And some of the girls we just mentioned are away from your program now. You had a nice team last year. Talk about this team this year a little bit.
Well, Kelsey Sanders, as I said, we just mentioned, she's trying to go Division II and play at Missouri Southern. She's got a lot of friends that play there, so that's one of her decisions. She's going to be probably one of our key players. She's our forward. We're looking at her scoring a lot of goals. Lauren Koppel is playing center mid probably for us. She's already signed to play NEO, playing soccer, kind of continue the next level as well. Some of the other players we have back from that varsity team, Alicia England, Danielle Legos, another senior. She kind of got a broken ankle. She's trying to get back by April. We look for her to contribute a little bit. Stephanie Loden's another one. She's coming off a little bit of a hip problem, but we're hoping she's going to get back and make it and contribute again. She's been a starter for 3 years, I think. So we've got some people coming back. And
then I want to mention the boys too. We're running out of time here, but the boys' season in the fall just ended another season too, and another good season for you as well. Talk about that team a little bit.
Well, we got to the championship game in districts. We ended up losing. Like I said, we lost our Blake Agus had a knee injury. We talked about that earlier. He's going to sign Division III, playing for a powerhouse in Division III. So we feel good about sending some players at that level too. We lost into Chris Jones, blew out his knee the week before. So we had a lot of key injuries going in there, and we made it to the championship. We lost 3-2. They scored the last 4 minutes of the game. We beat us 3-2 on that. We ended up being 18-7. Next year, I think we'll be one of the favorites in the district again. So we hope that we can actually win a district title next year.
Well, you're definitely a busy guy, coaching 2 soccer seasons throughout the year, and another one coming up. Thanks for being with us, and good luck this spring with girls soccer.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's Ed Miller. This is Take 10. Again, this is a partnership between the Joplin Globe and Joplin Schools. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again next week.